Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 7 HRM. My name is Alvira Aurelia and I have my friends here with me, Ayu Irawan, Muhammad Hisbi Mubarak, and Muhammad Rizky Mubarrok. In this video, we will explain about social media and HRIT for final exam project. So first, I will explain about social media. Social media interactively appeared when Web 2.0 was actively appeared to. But before Web 2.0 there was Web 1.0. So Web 1.0 is a website that is used for the first time where all the data created and displayed in it. And the design of the website or all determined administrator or publisher, so it feels monotonous. Web 1.0 refers to the first stage of the World Wide Web evolution. And earlier, there were only few content creators in Web 1.0, with the huge majority of users who are consumers of content. Web 1.0 is not too interactive because the nature of Web 1.0 itself is read. So when the user wants to add a comment, then that person must contact the admin directly through the specified contact address. And in using Web 1.0, accessors can only browse something and require users to come to the website and view the content in it one by one. It just doesn't become practical. And also in Web 1.0, advertisements on websites while surfing the internet is banned. And examples of websites that use Web 1.0 technology are websites that provide news. Then things change, markets change, and developers learn new skills. So from Web 1.0 we move to Web 2.0. Web 2.0 refers to worldwide website, which highlight user-generated content. Web 2.0 is not as read-write web. It is basically a new way to use existing internet technology. Web in Web 2.0, the web user can not only read the content just like Web 1.0, but also write and modify and update the content online. And it also supports collaboration and help together collective intelligence rather than Web 1.0. And Web 2.0 is also called participative social web. So it does not revert to a modification to any technical specification, but to modify in the way web pages are designed and used. And interaction and collaboration with each other is allowed by Web 2.0 in a social media dialogue as creator of user-generated content in a virtual community. So Web 2.0 is an enhanced version of Web 1.0. And then there goes Web 3.0. So Web 3.0 is built on the kinds of applications and services that makes it so popular in the past few years. And nowadays search engines are able to produce much complete and targeted information. Users are even more tightly connected with friends and businesses via social media applications, and greater ability to record live streaming and store information makes Web 3.0 more precise and helpful for the web users. And then social media. So, social media is any digital tool that allows users to quickly create and share content with the public. Social media encompasses a wide range of websites and apps. Some, like Twitter, specialize in sharing links and short written message. Others, like Instagram and TikTok, are built to optimize the sharing of photos and videos. Anyone with internet access can sign up for a social media account. They can use that account to share whatever content they choose to, and the content they share reaches anyone who visits their pages or profile. And once a profile has been created, users can create and share content. And then also, social media often uses feeds that allow users to scroll through content. And social media companies use algorithms based on a user's profile data to determine the content that appears and the order that it appears in. The feed will include content from followed users as well as from entities that pay to promote their content. So here are where Web 2.0 and Web 3.0 play the fields. Social media is a website that or applications that allows you to create and share content while engaging with other users. And unlike traditional unlike traditional mass media outlets, social media allows almost anyone to instantly reach the public, and there are relatively few restrictions on the content. Business can use social media to engage with customers, but their social media platforms have become an important part of marketing for business of all sizes. Just like users can review products or services and then the other users may read those reviews as the business being reviewed. And if you successfully engage with your customers, then it will help you better identify their tastes and preferences. And then, okay, social media are faster and more targeted than any traditional media. So, in traditional media, when there was an incident, when an incident happened and there was a journalist at that time, at that place, then the journalist could interview, could the about the incident, could write a story, but the journalist cannot um, cannot publish it just that time. The journalist must have go to the editor, and their rights will be on draft first, and it will be published in couple days or few days, or if it's important, maybe in an hour. But it takes time. It takes time. Then when the article appeared either in newspaper or any medium, then the reader could read it, but just only read. and it takes time from the actual incident that first happened to the reader that read the incident. It takes time, couple days or few days. And then social media. When an incident happened and there was a victim, the victim itself will tell people the story about it, tell people the story about the incident, and they could just do it by by the time when incident happened. Social media like Twitter allows allows their users to tweet, to write. They called it tweet. The victim might tweet about the story, the incident in Twitter. And then the victim's followers will read it and will interact with the tweet, and then interact too with the victim. And then the victim's followers will retweet the tweet. The victim's followers also have followers. And the followers of victims' followers will read the tweet, and they will interact with the tweet, and then they will retweet it again. So the news about the incident, the story about the incident spread rapidly, spread very fast. The time was short. It could happen not just in an hour, but in a minute. So that's the difference between social media and traditional media. This occur because internet, Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and yeah.
HR Information and Technology. With IT, the company allowed to improve its external process, core competency, relevant markets, and organizational structure as a whole. So these are the example of software provider in HR. It's quite a lot, but what did they do in HR? And this is the example, one of the interface of a system from SAP company. If you wonder why HR should use this kind of system, because you can't maintain your organization. By hence, you'll need this kind of systems to maintain all of the organizational structure. If you're a manager of an organization, your work will get easier with this because with this system, you can manage several things from performance appraisal, salary, approval for vacancy requests, calculating payroll monthly, absence, company cards, insurance, etc. Let's take a look again at the interface. We can see that this system is not only can used by manager, but also by employees, even by phone.
My name is Rizky, my full name Muhammad Rizky Mubarrok, and I will continue the presentation from my friend Alvira Aurelia and Ayu Irawan. So, this slide contain use of HR technology. Basically, there are four main functions of HR technology. The first one is to attract and hire. The second one is to support workforce administration. The third is retain and maintain talent. And the last one is optimize workforce management. The goal from automating the following function is to help the managers work faster and more efficiently. HR technology is used by manager, employees, HR professional, IT, and operation department, all in different way to improve the way they do business. Moving on to the next slide. So, user system and expert system. What is the difference? So, when we talk about system, there are two types of them: user system and expert system. What makes the difference is just how to use it. If user system, it means can use easily by employee and no need training. But the expert system need training to be able to use it and more complicated. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Okay, typical solution of expert and user system. I will explain first the left side. On the left side is more like administrative. The first one is master data. What is master data? Contain. Master data contain is like more name, bank account, home address, birthday, or something like that. And then moving on to the course booking. Course booking is basically like you want to book a course, like maybe English course. Don't need expert to use that kind of system. And then time record. Time record is just like a system that track for when you come to work and when you leave. Usually it is using ID card. And then moving on to the bottom left side, pre-selection. Pre-selection is more like getting tons of application, and the idea is sort this application. You have to look to the CV. This kind of system is using by expert and not employees. And then training admin is like to maintain all the data about training in the system. And then moving on to the next, internal mobility is like to managing people who move to one division or another, or maybe from one country to another country. And then next is planning interview. Is more like scheduling interview or managing all the recruiters or manager have the right material in advance to relate to the interview. So moving on to the right side. The right side is more about value creation. The first one is 36-degree feedback. It's more like online questionnaire that people can use immediately, and that is so easy. Don't need expert to use that. And then performance application is just like system that manager use to write some note when they doing performance appraisal. And then the last one is online training. It's just like system like portal that you can use to training online. And then moving on to the right bottom side. On the right bottom side, we have first intern talent pool. Intern talent pool is like about the former intern in your company that you might need to hire them one day. Then moving on, succession planning is like to always know who is the successor in the certain executive position, who will be the successor in the current position. And then talent review is system to classify all employees who have high potential in certain job. I think that's all from me, and the presentation will be continued by Hisbi.
Study case from Dell's local content strategy. The main focus of Dell's early employment branding strategy was to be visible where candidates were spending most of their time on social media. As social media evolved, so did our approach to Dell's online presence. We created a content strategy aligned to Dell's talent acquisition objectives and our employee value proposition to attract candidates. In order to attract and convert candidates in the Brazilian market, we piloted a local content strategy in Latin America that mirrored our global content strategy, where we localized content and empower social media leads in each country to tropicalize the content and create rich posts that would position Dell as a great place to work in their specific market. With a local content strategy, our followers in key market now receive content that is relevant to them in their local language, culture, and values to create a deeper connection to our employment brand. Our localized strategy is primarily based on Facebook because of the available geo-targeting feature. Key result: attract top talent in local markets. We realized that by conveying the work culture in our key markets in the local language, we were able to effectively compete for talent within that market instead of posting content globally in hopes that it would resonate and attract candidates in all markets. Roughly 3 months after implementing the strategic localized approach, we began to see our followers convert into applicants. The first one, source of hire for social media increased from 3% to 8% in Latin America since the implementation of the strategy. We had over more than 1,015 college students opt into FHO from July to December 2017. Engagement on Facebook for our post targeting Brazil doubled from 6.5k to 12.6k engagements once we start being purposeful with our contents. Increased engagement. Total followers is no longer used as a sole indicator to measure our brand success. As our content strategy has evolved, we have begun to put a higher weight of success on post engagement. That's all from us. We are from Group 7. We ask forgiveness for any words and behavior which are not supposed to be. Thank you for all attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.